Picture a figure, a guardian of nature, whose very name has been darkened by those who fear her strength. Imagine imposing, elegant horns, a voice as rich as velvet but as resonant as a clarion call, and eyes that burn with a fire kindled by human betrayal. You're envisioning Maleficent, a character who defies the shallow label of villain. But who is she really, and why does her story feel so unnervingly familiar? Enter the realm of Maleficent, a character explored in both the 2014 and 2019 films whose narrative is a poignant mirror to our own world. Far from a wicked witch, Maleficent emerges as a symbol of resistance to human greed, a sentinel against the relentless march of human tyranny. Once a benevolent fairy, a devoted protector of the Moors, Maleficent transforms in response to human cruelty. We are forced to ask, is her darkness not a mirror reflecting human depravity? Is her wrath not a tempest brewed from the storms of human betrayal and insatiable greed? In this deep dive, we will traverse the harrowing path that led Maleficent from guardian to so-called monster. We will argue that her descent is not a fall from grace but a rise to justice, a battle against the all-consuming tide of human desires. In a world where humans persistently wage wars over land, power, and resources, where they lay waste to forests and poison rivers, isn't Maleficent's fierce defense of her home a battle cry that echoes through the ages? We will navigate her complex origin story, examining the pivotal moments when human treachery turned love to rage and trust to vengeance. We will unveil Maleficent not as a villain, but as a tragic hero in a world where the true villainy lies in the dark heart of humanity itself. So, ready yourselves for a journey that defies fairy tale simplicity. Fasten your seatbelts, for we are about to soar with dragons through a world that is less fantasy than we might wish to believe. This tale is no mere fiction. It is a stark, unsettling reflection of our own world. Are you prepared to confront the enigmatic Maleficent, and in her, the harsh truths of our own reality?
Stefan gave Maleficent a gift. He told her it was true love's kiss. But it was not to be.
The tale of Maleficent is a tale of survival, a rebellion against the corrosive poison of human greed and betrayal. So, where does the story of this iconic character begin, and why does it strike such a chilling chord within us? Picture the Moors, a haven of peace and harmony, where trees converse with the wind and magical beings celebrate the beauty of existence. Here, a young Maleficent thrives as the land's noble guardian. Her magnificent wings are not mere appendages. They are the embodiment of her spirit, unfettered and bold, reflecting a heart unburdened by malevolence. She is grace incarnate in a world untainted by human ambition. Enter Stefan, a human boy whose supposed love for Maleficent was but a guise, a stepping stone on his path to power. Their connection, initially a symbol of potential unity between two worlds, human and magical, warps into a dark premonition of the treachery that humans are capable of. It is a tale not of love, but of a brutal awakening. Stefan's betrayal, the vile act of severing Maleficent's wings, is more than an assault. It is the epitome of human treachery. It's a violence that echoes the plundering of lands and exploitation of nature that mankind has perpetrated throughout history. This is where innocence is slaughtered at the altar of human avarice. This heinous act is the crucible in which Maleficent's new identity is forged. Her once radiant heart, so cruelly violated, adopts the dark hue of righteous vengeance. She emerges not as a spiteful witch, but as a warrior queen, her magic honed into a sword of retribution. Her curse on Stefan's daughter, Aurora, is no petty act of malice. It is a resounding declaration of war against a man and a species that betrayed her so profoundly. It is the cry of the earth scorched by human hands, of the rivers poisoned by human waste. The origin of Maleficent is no fall from grace, it's an awakening to the stark reality of human nature. A nature perpetually at war with itself and the world. It's a narrative on how the wounds inflicted by human greed can kindle a fire of resistance, a lesson that peace with such a species so relentlessly destructive is a dangerous fantasy. In Maleficent's tale, we see not only the echoes of myth, but the reflections of our own world, one where human conflict and environmental devastation are as real as the blood that was spilled in the Moors. As we delve deeper into this exploration, remember, Maleficent's journey is less a fairy tale than it is a war cry for a world under siege by the relentless tide of human desire. In a world where the conquest of nature and the subjugation of magical beings are the unwritten laws of mankind, Maleficent emerges not as the villain of this tale, but as a defiant guardian, a bulwark against the insidious creep of human avarice and destruction. Why then was she right to brandish her wrath as she did? Let's delve deeper into this notion. Consider the moors, a sanctuary, a veritable Eden teeming with life and magic under Maleficent's watchful care. It is a realm where the balance of life is preserved, not plundered. Maleficent, in her role as its guardian, represents the epitome of a world that exists in harmony, not dominance. It is a philosophy starkly contrary to the human world, which perpetuates cycles of war, colonization, and environmental degradation. Enter Stefan, emblematic of the dark underbelly of human desire. His love for Maleficent was but a mask, a concealment of his ambition, and an omen of the treachery that humans repeatedly enact. The severing of Maleficent's wings was not merely an act of personal betrayal, it was a microcosm of humanity's larger betrayal of the natural world, a grim parallel to the deforestation, pollution, and extinction that our own species perpetrates. Was Maleficent wrong to retaliate? In cursing Aurora, she was striking at the heart of human hypocrisy, punishing the seed of the man who so callously betrayed her and who would raise his daughter in a kingdom built on lies and theft. It was not cruelty, it was poetic justice, a reckoning long overdue. Moreover, Maleficent's curse can be seen not as a spiteful hex, but as a desperate attempt to awaken humanity to the consequences of its actions. In cursing the innocent Aurora, Maleficent makes a powerful statement about the cycle of harm that humanity's actions inevitably perpetuate, affecting even its own future generations. Throughout history, humans have vilified those who stand against their encroachments, labeling them as witches, heretics, or rebels. Maleficent, in her fierce resistance, is branded a villain by those who fear her strength and conviction. Yet in her defiance, she mirrors the resistance of indigenous peoples defending their lands, of activists standing against environmental degradation, of anyone who dares to say enough to the relentless tide of human expansion and exploitation. Thus, in Maleficent, we see a character who is right, not in a moralistic sense, but in a profoundly ecological and existential sense. She is the defender we often lack in our own world, a reminder that there are lines which must not be crossed, and that for every action, as Newton's third law echoes, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In Maleficent's stance, we don't just see a fairy tale antagonist, we witness a profound elemental counterforce to human recklessness, a reckoning that our own world, weary from centuries of human-caused wounds, is desperately crying out for.
Go away. Go. Go away. I don't like children.
In the eyes of many, Maleficent emerges as a hero, a beacon of hope and unity, bridging the gap between human and fairy worlds. But within this narrative of harmony lies a stark and unsettling question. Is this unity a healing balm, or is it a Trojan horse concealing impending doom? Let's delve deeper into this uneasy paradox of Maleficent as a hero. Imagine the moors, a pristine haven where the rivers run clear and the trees stand tall, untouched by poison or blade. It is a world where nature is not a resource, but a companion, a living, breathing, cherished friend. Contrast this with the human world, a place marred by greed, where forests are felled and rivers choked in the name of progress. Now consider Maleficent's act of uniting these worlds. Through her eyes, this union is an olive branch, a promise of a future where love and understanding can overcome the darkest of paths. But is this future a mirage? Is it built on a foundation of sand that the tides of human nature will inevitably wash away? Humanity, as history has repeatedly shown, is a species that often scars what it touches. From the forests we've decimated to the species we've driven to extinction, our legacy is one of consumption and conquest. The question then becomes, why should the moors, a place of such purity and grace, be exposed to this insatiable appetite for destruction? Why invite the storm into the sanctuary? Envision Maleficent standing on the precipice of this decision. In her wisdom, she could have chosen a different path, a path where the moors remained a secret, a refuge, allowing the human world to reckon with the consequences of its own avarice and disregard. Her true revenge might not have been a curse, but a poignant, resounding absence. A world allowed to crumble under the weight of its own destructive tendencies, without the salvation of the Moors to cleanse it. This is not merely a tale spun from fantasy, it is our reality mirrored in Maleficent's story. We, the viewers, are the humans of this narrative. We are participants in a world where nature is gasping under our grip, where our advancements often spell doom for the delicate balance of life around us. So we must ask, in our pursuit of expansion, conquest, and control, are we not the ominous shadow threatening to darken the world we inhabit? In this sobering light, Maleficent's initial resolve to separate her world from ours seems less a spiteful act and more a tragic yet necessary safeguard. As we sit captivated by this tale, we are compelled to face a haunting reflection of our own existence. Maleficent's story then becomes not just a tale, but a poignant question aimed at the heart of each viewer. Are we, in our relentless quest for more, the architects of our own looming ruin?
For she had never understood the greed and envy of men. But she was to learn. For the human king had heard of a growing power in the Moors, and he sought to strike it down.
As our journey through the tale of Maleficent comes to an end, we are left not with a conclusion, but with a profound, lingering question that echoes in our own reality. Are we as a species capable of harmony, or are we perpetually at war with nature, with others, and ultimately with ourselves? We've glimpsed into a world divided, a paradise of the Moors flourishing under the tender care of beings like Maleficent, and the contrasting world of men, shadowed by greed, deception, and a ceaseless hunger for control. In Maleficent's story, we see more than a fairy tale. We are faced with a stark and haunting mirror reflecting our own existence. Is it not striking how familiar the dark, destructive tendencies of humans in this tale are? We drain the life from our planet for fleeting comforts, ravage pristine landscapes to feed insatiable desires, and we build empires on the agony of others. In our wake, we leave a trail of scorched earth and extinguished life. We are, tragically, the Stephans of our own world. Through Maleficent's eyes, we experience the agony of betrayal by a loved one, by a species. We feel the wrenching pain that gives birth to her wrath, and for a moment, we understand it. In her vengeance lies a disturbing comfort, a justice for every river we've poisoned, for every forest we've burnt, for every innocent life we've disregarded. And yet, within Maleficent's tale is also a shimmering sliver of hope, a love that softens a hardened heart, a chance for redemption, for change. It's a fragile, delicate strand, easily severed by the next act of human cruelty, but it persists. So we are left to ponder. Will there ever be a time when we as humans exist in harmony with the world we inhabit? Or is our destiny one of endless conflict, an insidious cycle where periods of peace are but brief interludes in a grand, tragic play of war and ruin? As we close this chapter, let Maleficent's story linger as more than just a tale. Let it be a profound call to reflection, a plea to examine the path we tread, and to question whether we, armed with the capacity for both immense love and devastating cruelty, can ever craft a future where the tale of war with our world is finally and truly laid to rest. In this moment, as you listen to this narrative unfold, you hold that power. The question remains, what will you choose? Until next time.